Welcome to Accounting High.
You can have a really successful practice that doesn't offer tax. That's something that's very, it's just kind of new in this whole cloud accounting space, is that you can have an accounting practice that doesn't touch taxes, which is a very modern phenomenon, and you don't have that busy season. And so if you're thinking about going out on your own, maybe you are a tax expert. That's awesome. We need more of you. Please, we definitely need more of you. But there is a place to build a practice that doesn't do tax today.
Peaceful practice that doesn't have to answer to the IRS. You just have to answer to the tax accountants that are doing your clients' taxes.
That's right. That's right.
And those, I'm sure, are a joy.
Yes. And bridging the gap between
your tax. How is your relationship between with you and the tax accountants you work with?
I think it's solid because one of the things that I offer my packages is what I call light business tax planning. And all it really is being a liaison between the CPA and the client, right?
Ooh.
I'm a CPA myself. I know enough to be dangerous. So I'm looking out for my clients. I'm making sure they're setting aside enough cash for their taxes. But a lot of times, clients don't know what questions they should be asking their tax accountant, right? And the tax accountant isn't proactive because they have so many clients, and this client has only signed up for a compliance level service offering. And so I have found it to be helpful to kind of bridge that gap. And what I offer is to meet with my client's CPAs 2 to 4 times a year. The client doesn't even need to be on the call. And I can just walk through the CPA, what I'm seeing in the numbers and where I think we can make certain strategic decisions. And so I think having someone like an outsourced CFO can really improve the relationship between the CPA and the client, because it's someone who can speak there.
We have a full episode that talks about bridging the gap between, we were talking to not even necessarily CFOs, but bookkeepers, but in that realm, people that do CAS, just CAS, and then the people that do taxes. There's a very frayed relationship between us. We're not, and I'm saying us, I feel like I identify with both parties in a lot of ways. So I can see both sides of the argument here. My firm does taxes, but I surround myself with a lot of CFOs and the like, CAS people. So I can empathize with both parties. It is hard to find that common ground. So to have somebody be the liaison to bridge that gap, I commend you, sir. Keep doing that. Make it easier for the tax accountants and let them in on the fun too. Try to get them some consulting opportunities too, instead of just feeding off of their back. Say, here, look, you could be doing this with your clients, and offer some more. I think a lot of them know they could be doing that, but they're just too busy to even be bothered.
That's right.
That's the biggest problem too.
And I think clients get frustrated because they expect their CPA to be an advisor when they're really just paying them to do the compliance work, right? The client doesn't know that they need to be signing up for advisory, and the tax CPA is too busy with other stuff to be proactive about offering more tax advisory packages. And so it can really help bridge that gap and mend the tension that can sometimes arise in those relationships.
We got to value ourselves more.
Amen.
Just because we're doing compliance, as a lot of accountants, because my firm is pretty much mostly compliance. We're doing some bookkeeping, but it's for the compliance work.
Yeah.
So I know how that is. And that relationship is difficult because they may not value you as high as you should be valued. So then you devalue yourself too. When clients know that they can just get the same thing done on TurboTax or at Jackson Hewitt or one of the others, H&R Block, that's a thorn in our side because, we worked hard for this license and to be able to do this. And if you think you could do it yourself, well, then go do it yourself. That's kind of the relationship a lot of, tax accountants have with their clients too. Sometimes it's frayed. So thank you for helping bridge that gap, Paul. I appreciate your sage wisdom here. Rev Run would be proud of Swaggy P over here. I would say you've turned into a good advisor.
Your people are the purpose. Make varsity. It's time to level up. Your people are the purpose. Make varsity. It's time to level up. Lace up.